Okay, good morning, everyone. Is that working? Can you hear me? All right, thank you. Before I call this meeting to order, I'll note for the record I'll serve as acting chair for today's meeting. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation doing business as Empire State Development for Thursday, December 20th, 2018. As noted on the agenda posted to the internet, we welcome public comment on the items on our agenda to ensure maximum opportunity for participation. Speakers representing themselves may speak for up to 2 minutes each, and those representing groups may speak for up to 4 minutes with one speaker per group. Speakers' comments may only address the items considered at today's meeting. As always, the directors have received the written materials in advance and are free to ask questions at any time. At this time, I'll ask directors if anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. The first item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes from November 15th, 2018 meeting. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions? Okay, approved. Second. Thank you. I can't keep up with you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. The motion carries. The President's report, I will keep very brief. We had our 8th round of Regional Economic Development Council awards this week, which were very successful. We had 5 regions that got the highest honors, which include the Finger Lakes region, Central New York, the Mohawk Valley, the Mid-Hudson, and New York City.
New York City.
5
Finally.
of the, New York City. So we congratulate everyone who participated. I think it was, regions win between $65 and $85 million, basically. So it's a great project. We've now funded over 6,000 projects over the course of this regional council process. And again, another $700 and roughly $50 million divided between all the regions. So it's been significant. The state economy obviously is extremely strong. We've got about 8.25 million private sector jobs, the most in history. Unemployment across the state is now 4% or lower. And so it has been a remarkable transformation, really, from eastern New York to western New York and places in between.
Idea. All the volunteers that participate in each region, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody involved on a bipartisan basis. It's just been terrific. I've seen it in the Mid-Hudson region.
Yeah. Okay, Glenn, Glenn McCleary, will you present a summary of the projects that we are about to discuss?
Thank you, and good morning, Howard. The directors will be requested to consider 22 projects totaling $100,882,093 in grants. The projects include 2 Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster Awards, 9 Regional Council Awards, and 14 discretionary awards. The project will take place in 9 of the 10 regions, leverage over $819 million of additional investment, and retain 4,775 jobs, and create 2,045 jobs in the state. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. We'll move to the regional projects. Jim Fail, Central New York, are you on the line?
Yes, good morning.
Hey, Jim.
Today I'll be asking the board to approve one grant. It is a $700,000 grant to Giovanni Food Company. They are a local food company that does private labeling, involved with sauces and drinks, things of that nature. This is an $8.6 million project, and this is for them to purchase a building and renovate it and then equip it with new machinery and equipment. This was a Round 5 priority project. It was completed in September of 2017. It was to create 10 additional jobs and has actually exceeded that by 21 jobs. And I'll be glad to take any questions.
Okay, any questions from directors on this Giovanni priority project, Round 5? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Thank you. Second, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thanks, Jim. Mike
you.
Reese has two projects. Mike and Pravina are going to present projects. Okay, great. Mike, take it away.
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Board of Directors. I do have one project that I'm presenting this morning. I'm asking the directors to approve a $550,000 capital grant to be used for a portion of the cost of construction and renovation at the Masonic Medical Research Laboratory located in the city of Utica. This is an REDC award from round 6, and the incentive proposal was accepted by the lab in June 2017. The lab was established in 1958 with a primary mission to conduct high-quality basic and clinical research aimed at generating the knowledge for development of medical cures and treatments. Masonic Lab is internationally recognized for its discoveries in cardiac arrhythmias and a legacy of other scientific breakthroughs that have been at the forefront of new heart medications and diagnostic procedures. The laboratory facility required significant modernization to the second and third floor, including demolition and asbestos abatement, installation of new electrical and HVAC systems to accommodate new state-of-the-art research equipment. The third floor was transformed into a full barrier vivarium, and renovations of the second floor included walk-in cooler for temperature-controlled studies, a chemistry area, chemical storage areas, and general open-concept laboratory. Project will retain 21 existing jobs and create 10 new jobs. They've already exceeded those 10 new jobs. The total budget for the project was $7,833,000. And it was completed in June 2018. This project is consistent with the Mohawk Valley REDC's plan to leverage key R&D institutions for spin-off economic development activities. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, we'll go to Pravina for the second Mohawk Valley, and then we'll just kind of take both of those if we can at one time and see if there's any questions. Go on, Pravina.
Good morning. So we are requesting a grant of $303,600 for the Mohawk Valley Community College Advanced Institute for Manufacturing, which is also a NYSTAR MEP center. And the purpose of the grant is to provide cybersecurity assessments, implementations, and final compliance for DoD, Department of Defense, U.S. Department of Defense manufacturers. In June of this year, we won a grant from the Department of Defense to provide this to anywhere in their supply chain, any company that is affected in their supply chain, for them to continue to get DoD contracts, but also commercial work. We did a competitive RFP in July 20th and awarded the Mohawk Valley Community College the award in September of 2013. They have already received 7 applications to be helped, and 5 of them have been accepted. They do a panel review to see who they're going to help, and they have to assist at least a minimum of 30 companies through this. And the benefit is obviously to allow these companies to stay competitive, but to also win more DoD business as well as commercial business.
Okay. Pravina, could you remind people what an MEP center is?
Sure. So Manufacturing Extension Partnership Center is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce's program to help advance manufacturing across the state. We have 11 centers, 1 for each region, and then one center to cover the entire state, which really helps manufacturers from figuring out how to increase their plants, but also even trying to find for more efficiencies across the manufacturing process.
Okay. So we have 2 items from the Mohawk Valley. Are there any questions from directors on either item? Derek.
So I had a question on the second. Does the DoD contractors who make use of this service at the college, do they pay for that, or is that free?
So they will have to pay. They have to pay a 10% cost share on the project, but majority of it will be covered by this grant. But they will have to pay some.
And I have a follow-up. These are local companies. These are
New York State companies, anyone in the state of New York.
not necessarily within that region.
No, so for example, of the 7 applicants we had 2 from the Finger Lakes, 2 from the Capital Region, 1 from Long Island, 1 from Central New York, and 1 from the Southern Tier. It's just that they'll be at that center, but they will provide the assessments across New York State.
Thanks.
Other questions for Pravina or Mike on these items? Any comments from the public on either of these 2 Mohawk Valley items? Is there a motion to approve both items? Derek?
Second.
Second, Cesar, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, Mike and Pravina, thank you. Next up, we have Donna Howell from the Southern Tier. Donna?
morning, Howard. Good morning, directors. I do have one project this morning. I'm requesting approval for a $300,000 grant to Transit Air for machinery and equipment to assist with their business expansion. They expanded their facilities to bring operations in-house and eliminate their need to use subcontractors so that they were competitive in the railway industry, which is our region's industry cluster. The company completed the facility renovations just this November to accommodate the new high-speed Amtrak rail project with Alstom. And then so they purchased new equipment, including a wheel press, a new sandblast booth, and a 15-ton crane. The total project cost is slightly over $1.6 million, and it is a round 5 consolidated funding regional council award. Without this assistance, the project wouldn't have been feasible, and it will retain 63 jobs and create 10 new jobs. And it's consistent with our regional council plan to promote advanced manufacturing, and then, of course, with an emphasis on the transportation sector. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, any questions for Donna from directors on this item? Is there any comment from the public on this Southern Tier item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Thank you. Second, Derek, Rob, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thanks, Donna. Loretta Bine and Mike Everly will present 2 projects from the Capital Region. Loretta, you're going to start?
Very good. Hi. Founded in 1988 in New York State, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, Inc. is a publicly held biopharmaceutical manufacturing company with 6 FDA-approved medicines in the market and a robust pipeline of compounds, all developed in New York State laboratories. To accommodate significant growth in its scientific research and its headquarters, and to increase employment, Regeneron needed to expand its facilities. The company planned to incur additional capital expenditures of $800 million to construct and renovate and purchase new machinery and equipment for new and existing facilities. The company is committed to create 1,500 new jobs in New York State. In an effort to retain Regeneron in New York State, ESD issued a performance-based incentive offering grants plus Excelsior Jobs program of up to $70 million in capital grants and up to $70 million in Excelsior credits. The New York State incentive will be used for construction, renovation, and purchase of machinery and equipment at new and existing facilities and operations and warehouse space in New York's Capital Region and in the company's headquarters and R&D operations in the Mid-Hudson region. The incentive will retain 4,583 existing jobs and create 1,500 new jobs. Regeneron already created 252 new jobs as the company accepted the ESD incentive proposal in January of 2018. So without the New York State funding from ESD, Regeneron would have expanded its operation in Ireland.
And this is a global life science company. I mean, it's one of the larger life science companies in the world.
I've been to the headquarters. They're now going into the Capital Region? Is this a new facility?
They
Adds to an existing one.
Yeah, they have corporate functions and research in the Mid-Hudson. They also have some processing and manufacturing in the capital. Is that right, Loretta?
Yep.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, were you done with your presentation?
I am.
Okay. All right. Mike, you have a second item?
Yes, good morning. The project I have to present today is the SUNY Adirondack Culinary Arts Center Capital, located in Glens Falls, Warren County. I'm asking the directors to approve 2 capital grants totaling $1.1 million to SUNY Adirondack in support of the $1.9 million project. The first capital project is a $600,000 Round 1 DRI award from the Glens Falls DRI allocation. The second is a $500,000 Regional Council capital grant from reallocated funds. The project was completed in September 2018. SUNY Adirondack is a 2-year community college with more than 30 academic programs, including a growing culinary arts curriculum. The project includes the renovation and build-out of 8,100 square feet of leased space to create a culinary arts center, including a modern teaching kitchen, bake shop, classrooms, and a student-run restaurant. The new center provides approximately twice as much usable space for the program and brings college students, faculty, and patrons to downtown to diversify and energize the commercial district. The project is located at 14 Hudson Avenue in the heart of the Glens Falls DRI. The project is consistent with the Capital Region's Development Council plan by advancing the metro, liftoff, and talent strategies by opening in downtown, attracting tourists to Glens Falls, and enhancing the region's skilled talent pipeline for our critical tourism and hospitality sector. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so in the capital region, we've got two disparate projects, life sciences and culinary downtown revitalization. You know, the Regeneron is, prior to the Amazon deal, this is the largest economic development deal that I recall working on over the last 4 years. So it's exciting to have 1,500 life science jobs. As you know, has been a big focus of ours over the last year or so, and it doesn't get better than this from the life science perspective. But if there's any questions for Loretta on the Regeneron or Mike on the Downtown Culinary Arts Center, Glens Falls, any questions from directors on either of these two? Any comments from the public on either of these two capital region items? Is there a motion to approve both items? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you, Loretta and Mike. Jane Thielen will present an item from the New York City region. Jane?
Yes, good morning, everyone. The new NYU Marion Institute of Urban Management proposes to develop a framework and options for the regulated production and distribution of cannabis, including adult use marijuana, industrial hemp, and cannabinoid CBD containing products for New York State. The project will be undertaken in collaboration with the researchers from the RAND Corporation, who will act as subcontractors for the purpose of this grant. The purpose of the NYU report/findings are to assist the state to develop a comprehensive regulatory framework that will help establish and protect a state adult use and the industrial hemp cannabis industry. The findings will be presented to the working group the governor established in August to draft legislation for regulated adult use marijuana program. There are 5 deliverables: the industry architecture and competitive structure, job creation and entrepreneurial opportunity, estimate of total demand for adult use, CBD, and hemp products, production and distribution cost estimates in a regulated industry, revenue options, revenue estimates, and public sector costs. You are being asked today to approve a $300,000 working capital grant for the research project that will present its findings shortly, if it hasn't already, to the governor's working group on adult use and industrial hemp.
Okay. Are there any questions? Are you done, Jane?
I am.
Okay. Are there any questions for Jane from directors on this item?
Well, is this dependent on the passage of legislation to legalize the recreational use of?
I mean, I think, is it fair to say the study, we're seeking to do the study in advance of any final recommendations or laws legalizing recreational cannabis use? Is that correct or incorrect?
That is correct. This is a study that will help that working group put together kind of the framework for the use of adult use and things like that, looking at the economics. It's giving you the tools.
Right, so it precedes any changes in law.
And when
Correct.
would the study be completed and the report, completed and distributed?
The report, I'm not sure who it gets officially distributed to. It will be distributed to the working group, of which Howard sits on, and they should have the study completed this month.
Oh, this month, wow.
Thanks. You put me on the spot there.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out that Congress has now passed the Farm Bill that had been sitting for a while, and has legalized on the federal level industrial hemp
That's right.
and cannabidiol products. So some of this will be useful to us in the short term.
Okay.
What is cannabidiol?
It's the resin from the hemp plant that is not psychoactive. It has a
Oh.
0 to
It's in the
point.
it's in the flower. It's 0.3 THC, so it is not psychedelic, and it's
Psychedelic.
I haven't heard that in a
obtained
while.
from pressing the flower.
Psychotropic.
I don't think psychedelic is the right term.
But we get the point.
Not that I,
Not that you would know anything
that's
about
right.
it.
He doesn't
There's
know
anything wrong with it.
You can't have that much fun on hemp, okay? All right, what else? Any other questions from directors on
Move.
this?
We're all in favor of it.
All right, I still probably
We
need a
think it's great.
motion. Rob, a second. Derek, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Sorry, I didn't ask if there was any comments from the public on this.
Oh, let's wait then.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Jane. Okay, moving to the Hudson Valley. Megan, 3 projects. Take it away.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board and Commissioner Zemsky. So today I'm presenting a $400,000 Regional Council Capital Fund grant from 2017 for Hudson Valley Beverage Company, doing business as Sloop Brewing's expansion project in the town of East Fishkill in Dutchess County. Sloop Brewing invested just over $2.7 million to renovate space and purchase new equipment to expand production, as well as establish a second tasting room and open a small restaurant at the former IBM campus in East Fishkill. The project will retain 4 jobs and create 15 net new, and the company will also receive up to $165,000 in Excelsior job tax credits as a component of this award. Sloop Brewing was founded in 2011 as a nano brewery out of a garage, and business grew through farmers markets, restaurants, bars, and craft beer stores. In 2014, Sloop partnered with Vosburg Orchards and opened a brewery in an early 19th century barn in Elizaville, which is in Columbia County. Sloop Brewing will keep its footprint in Elizaville, and Sloop's expansion project in Dutchess County will allow the business to continue to grow. The project was completed in October of 2018. The 4 jobs continue to be retained, and in addition, Sloop has created 13 of its 15 new FTEs. This project closely aligns with the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council's work strategy and continues to support our regional economic cluster program of food and beverage manufacturing. The next one is Steel Plant Studios. So this is a $2.5 million Regional Council capital grant that's made up of 2 awards, one from round 5 and one from round 6 of the REDC process, for Marist College's facility expansion and renovation of the Steel Plant Studios project in the town of Poughkeepsie in Dutchess County. Marist College invested $16 million to renovate a former steel fabrication building on its east campus, which is closer to downtown Poughkeepsie, into a high-tech education, innovation, entrepreneurship, and manufacturing space that will provide world-class technology-enhanced educational opportunities to prepare students to compete in a rapidly changing business environment. Marist College, a private not-for-profit educational institution founded in 1946, is in, again, the town of Poughkeepsie in Dutchess. The college has a main campus in Poughkeepsie and a branch campus in Florence, Italy as well, with over 6,500 currently enrolled students. The project was completed this month in December of 2018, and the project aligns again very closely with the Mid-Hudson Regional Council's work strategy, providing students with hands-on education in creative manufacturing. And lastly, I am presenting another 2 Regional Council capital grants, one from round 4 and one from round 5, totaling $2.25 million for RXR Soyo Exalta mixed-use transit-oriented development project located in downtown Yonkers, the 4th largest city in New York State and largest city in the county of Westchester. RXR Soyo Exalta invested $30.8 million on infrastructure improvements, including the Larkin Plaza parking garage, for a mixed-use transit-oriented development that will include 438 residential units and 39,000 square feet of commercial space. RXR Soyo Exalta is a subsidiary of RXR Soyo Exalta Partners, which is a special purpose limited liability company established for this project. RXR Realty, which is the parent company to RXR Soyo Exalta, has developed many projects in the New York metropolitan area with a focus on creating density around transit stations and activating downtown streetscapes with open space and commercial retail. The infrastructure and garage portions of the project are complete, and the results of this project will support and contribute to the development of the larger mixed-use TOD project. This project closely aligns with the Regional Council's LIVE strategy and downtown revitalization of urban centers. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Megan. We've got two Dutchess County projects in Westchester project. Are there any questions for Megan? And I want to note that Eric Gertler has joined us, so he's on the line. He can't vote because he's not joining us by video conference, but we appreciate Eric's participation nonetheless. And so I just want to welcome Eric and let you know he's on the line. And see if any directors have any questions for Megan on any of these, either of these three items.
Mr. Chairman, I am a member of the Board of Trustees of Marist College.
Okay.
So I'm sorry I didn't identify that earlier. So I will not vote on that one project.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm not sure I understand what is going to happen. We know what is going on in the downtown area and around the train station in Yonkers. What does this grant particularly do?
So this grant supports a mixed-use TOD project. So there are multiple residential units as well as a significant parking structure based on the need that the city had for a lack of parking to support their downtown and Main Street areas. And this was taking a blighted, essentially vacant parcel in the heart of the city of Yonkers and redeveloping that to create residential units, commercial spaces, and necessary parking infrastructure for the city.
And what round of RADC funding was it?
This was, one grant was from round 4 and one was from round 5, both totaling that 2.25.
Okay. Any other questions from directors on either of these three items? And Rob, you're recusing yourself from the first item, right?
No, I'm the Marist College.
Steel Plant Studios.
Okay, sorry,
Steel
second.
Plant.
I was under the impression that there were samples of Sloop Juice Bomb coming.
Yeah, where are those?
It's actually delicious. I should bring it down for everybody. So, and it's an interesting one because it's at the former IBM campus. So a real interesting way to repurpose an old industrial manufacturing building.
Okay, so Rob is recusing himself from the second item. Right, Steel Plant Studios Capital. And are there any other questions from directors? Are there any comments from the public on either of these three items? Or is there a motion to approve
Move.
all three? Thank you. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Megan. Amanda Mays, who we congratulate, has been appointed as the new Western New York Regional Director. So we welcome Amanda, and I think Amanda has two items, Amanda.
Good morning. The directors are requested to approve $1,775,000 from the Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster, Buffalo Billion 2, to the Buffalo County Industrial Land Development Corporation to be used for new land and right-of-way acquisitions at the former Bethlehem Steel site, as well as for planning of redevelopment of the land. This project will continue conversion of a vacant brownfield site into a shovel-ready, modern, well-designed industrial park in Lackawanna. The Bethlehem Steel Plant first opened in 1988 and at its peak employed over 25,000 workers and over 7 million square feet of buildings with almost 30 miles of rail track. During World War II, it was the highest volume steel facility in the country. With its closing of operations in 1983, the more than 1,000-acre site was left as one of the largest brownfields in New York State. In July 2017, the ILDC acquired 150 acres of land on the site, of which approximately 94 acres have been capped and are ready for development and are being marketed. That project was in part supported by ESD through CFA rounds 3 and 6 and is expected to be completed this month. The Buffalo Billion 2 funding will allow for the acquisition of an additional 90 acres of vacant brownfield land, the purchase of a 50-foot wide right-of-way along the west side of New York State Route 5, development of conceptual plans and alternatives, and continuation of the shoreline trail to connect through Lackawanna to Woodlawn Beach State Park in the town of Hamburg. And just to note, this grant is from Buffalo Billion 2 is for $10 million in total. Seeker review is still ongoing for the remainder, so we'll bring that remaining portion back to you at a future meeting. The second project is the NFTA Light Rail Extension environmental reviews. The directors are requested to approve $5 million, also from the Buffalo Regional Innovation Cluster, Buffalo Billion 2, to the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority for the cost of completing environmental reviews and some preliminary engineering for the proposed NFTA Metro Rail extension. This funding is part of the governor's larger investment in smart growth in western New York to address the decades-long sprawl in the region. The light rail system runs from New York Canal Side in downtown Buffalo north to its current terminus at the University of Buffalo's South Campus. The proposed extension would continue the transit system north through the town of Tonawanda and town of Amherst to the university's North Campus, where the majority of student activities take place. In August 2017, the NFTA issued a request for proposals to select a consultant for this work, and in February of 2018, its board of directors approved a contract with WSP USA to perform the requested services. This process will refine the locally preferred alternative and complete environmental reviews in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act and seeker requirements, as well as some preliminary engineering for the proposed extension. With the completion of the environmental reviews and some preliminary engineering, the NFTA will be able to advance the project to additional design and engineering support and apply for federal capital funding to support the extension. The project supports Western New York's strategy to promote and invest in smart growth. Extending NFTA Metro Rail would have numerous economic impacts for the region, including an increase in property values in the transit corridor, opportunity for an increase in property and sales tax revenues, and redevelopment of vacant and underutilized properties.
Okay. Thanks, Amanda. Are there any questions from the directors on either of these items? The City of Lackawanna, the Bethlehem Steel site, obviously is kind of a primarily shuttered property that we've tried to find and have, in fact, over the years found reuse for portions of that property, as opposed to, for example, continuing to sprawl out further and further and convert agricultural lands into office or industrial parks.
Sure.
And the NFTA Metro Rail extension, and also Buffalo Billion 2, is just to do help fund the seeker process to lay the groundwork for, this was kind of a vintage 1981 light rail system that was intended to expand over time. It was it's the only system done in that period of time that hasn't had an expansion. So, there's been talk in Western New York of, UB having really made Amherst what it is. And of course, we've tried hard to revitalize downtown Buffalo. I think have done a good job, but connecting the North Campus, the South Campus, and their medical campus, which is downtown, together, I think has a big impact. There's an astronomically high percentage of jobs that are within 1 mile of that literally line from UB North to UB South to downtown. So,
how far is it going to be extended?
It would be, I think it runs about 6 miles now. I think it would be another handful of miles maybe that it would extend out, not more than that, I don't believe. Okay. Any questions for Amanda from directors on either of these two items? Any question or comment, from the public on these items? Okay, is there a motion to approve both of them?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, Vinny is up from the Finger Lakes with 3 items. Vinny?
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, directors. The first of the 3 items is for your consideration is a $1.5 million regional capital priority project from Round 5 for the Seneca Park Zoo Society, which is the nonprofit partner for Monroe County's Seneca Park Zoo. They completed a $11.275 million expansion project for the new master plan that they've implemented. It was completed in September of 2018. Second project is with a company called Live Tiles. which is a software company that has created a new intelligent user experience hub in Rochester's High Falls district. We have provided, and for your consideration, a $3.5 million URI capital grant for Live Tiles in addition to a $3.5 million Excelsior Jobs tax credit offer for them to create up to 500 new jobs in this location. They're a New York City-based company with 35 jobs in Manhattan. This was the first expansion that they have made on the east coast of the United States. They are an Australian-formed company, traded publicly in Australia with locations in several countries. By June, they moved into their new location in Rochester, and they have already created 65 of the new jobs, which is one of the first milestones, which is why this is coming to you for your approval now. The third and final project is a $475,000 downtown revitalization initiative grant for Twisted Rail Brewery, which is revitalizing and reusing historic theater in the city of Geneva, Ontario County, which was the second-year downtown revitalization initiative awardee for the Finger Lakes region. This project is being completed this spring, and they've reached their first milestones with construction of the $778,000 project. Be happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Vinny. Any questions from directors on either of these projects? Monroe County, the Seneca Zoo, Live Tiles. This is in the High Falls district, as I recall, in Rochester, in a fabulous historic building. And Twisted Rail Brewery. Any comments from the public on either of these three items? Is there a motion to approve all three items?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you, Vinny. Okay, Beverly Bob will present an item regarding new New York broadband. Beverly.
Good morning, Commissioner and board members. The Broadband Program Office is seeking the Director's approval to fund one project with Mohawk Network LLC, representing a commitment of approximately $1.4 million in state grant funds through round 2 of the new New York Broadband Program. The project will leverage $358,000 in private sector matching funds from Mohawk Networks, resulting in a $1.8 million combined state and private broadband investments. The project before the board today will address completely unserved areas within the North Country region and will provide broadband service to approximately 813 locations, which includes 768 housing units and 45 other units. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Beverly. Are there any questions from directors to Beverly on this broadband item? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Yes, approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Beverly. Simone Bethune will now present the Restore New York Communities item. Simone.
Good morning. Thank you. There are 4 items on the Restore New York calendar for the director's consideration. The first item is a $500,000 Round 4 award to the City of Elmira. Elmira will oversee rehabilitation of 2 historic buildings to encourage both commercial and residential development in its downtown core. Work on the project will include replacement of the existing roofs, structural repairs, and preservation of historic elements of the interiors. Remediation of hazardous materials may also be required. This project began in mid-2017 and is estimated to be complete in May 2020 at a cost of $320,160. The second item is a Round 5 $3,998,549 grant to the City of Buffalo. This project will involve renovation of one building at 537 East Delavan Avenue and demolition of one building at 777 Northland Avenue. Rehabilitation of these 2 buildings is part of a larger plan, the Northland Corridor redevelopment, which will ultimately create a 50-acre advanced manufacturing campus for job training and business creation. The project is expected to be complete in September 2020 at a cost of $4.6 million. The third item is an $875,000 Round 5 award to the Village of Elmira Heights for interior renovations to the former Pierce Building, an historic 25,000 square foot building for mixed-use development. This renovation will create 3 planned residential units in the building, along with an elevator, and the main floor will also include a restaurant and possibly a catering company. The project is estimated to be complete in December 2020 at a cost of $1.7 million. And the final item is a $750,000 Round 5 award to the City of Oneonta. The city acquired the privately owned Stevens Hardware Building located in Oneonta's downtown commercial historic district. Oneonta will partner with Klugo SB LLC, the developer, to redevelop the building to include 1 commercial tenant space on the main floor and 5 residential units on the upper floors. Efforts to restore this building are supported by the Oneonta Downtown Revitalization Initiative, and this project will be complete in September 2019 at a cost of $1.4 million. Thank you.
Okay, Simone, thank you. We have 4 Restore New York items that Simone has detailed. Are there any questions from the directors on either of these 4 Restore New York items?
The first one, the
Yes, sir.
Lake Street Restore, I thought that she said it was going to cost $320,000, yet the grant seems to be for $500,000.
A cost of $320,000.
Yes, and the grant is for how much?
$500,000. That
So-
may be an error. Apologies.
There's 2 grants.
Oh,
There's 2 projects.
right.
Total $500,000.
Right, I'm sorry, there are two total project costs, so that one of the buildings will be $320,000 and the other will be $229 approximately.
So the projects exceed the grant?
Right.
Okay, I think that's the point. Like, we had a grant that was more than the project.
I understand.
Okay. So the projects, we have 2 projects there that exceed the cost of the grant. Okay.
Right, correct.
Okay, any other questions for Simone on these items? Is there any comment from the public? Is there a motion to approve these Restore New York items? Thanks, Derek, second. Cesar, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, thanks, Simone. Kelly Bacarizo will present Market New York Grant Program Project. Kelly.
Yes, good morning, Commissioner Zemsky, and to the board. Market New York has 1 capital project from Round 7. It was awarded in 2017 of the Regional Council Awards, and we will be requesting the board's approval for this project. A grant of $375,000 was awarded to Brewery Omegang, located in the Mohawk Valley region. The grantee has used the Market New York Capital Grant toward the renovation and construction of the Brewery Omegang Farmstead Brewery. This construction project consisted of a new cafe and visitor center, allowing for the ability for increased tours and tasting at this craft beverage tourism attraction. As a result of this capital project, Omegang hopes to increase visitation and increase overall revenues by over 20%. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Okay, any questions from directors for Kelly on this Brewery Omegang Hospitality Center? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Thanks, Rob. Second by Derek. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Rachel Dubin will present, I'm not gonna not pronounce this properly, Reggiani Revolving Loan Trust Fund item.
Oh, regional.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing so exotic.
It's regional. It's not-
Gotcha. That's all right. We have small spelling problems here and there. And your chair has a small reading
Thought it was
problem.
spelled correctly.
All right, go.
Good morning. The New York State Regional Revolving Loan Trust Fund was authorized in 1987.
Sounded nicer though.
We have a new project I have. Still have.
Revolving fund.
We'll work on that for next time.
Okay, good.
The program provides grant support to regional corporations or not-for-profit lenders to fund working capital loans to small businesses. In 1989, 5 regional corporations were selected competitively to administer the program. Since its inception, the program was challenging for the regional corporations to administer, resulting in limited activity. For several years, staff unsuccessfully requested legislative changes that, if implemented, would have streamlined the program requirements and made the funds easier to use. In January of 2018, in an effort to further assist small businesses, staff requested authorization from the board to amend the rules and regulations, a process that culminated in July of 2018. The revised regulations allow ESD to advance funds to regional corporations so that funds are on hand when the lenders are ready to disperse a loan, And the revised regulations also no longer require regional corporations to remit payments of loans by small businesses back to ESD. In August of 2018, staff released an RFP to identify additional regional corporations in order to disperse the approximately $2.3 million remaining in the program. Today, we seek authorization to make grants and take related action to establish 10 new regional corporations as described in the materials. Grants will range from $173,000 to $318,000 and will be used only to fund loan capital to small businesses.
Okay, any questions from the directors for Rachel on this new revolving loan fund program? None. Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Michael Evans is up next and will present an item relating to the Moynihan Station Civic and Land Use Improvement Project. Michael. Is Michael with us?
Yeah,
All right.
so I'm walking around.
Okay, we'll come back to Michael. Okay?
Live radio here, folks.
Here we go. All right. Let's jump ahead to, what do we have next? Christine? You have an item regarding the New York State Electric Generation Facility Cessation Mitigation Program. Christine?
Well said. Good morning. The directors are being asked to approve a grant, a $1.68 million grant from the Electric Generation Closure Program Fund to the Kenmore-Tonawanda Union Free School District. The $69 million fund was created to offset property tax losses realized by municipalities due to the closure of an electric generation facility within their jurisdictions. This is the third program year grant to the school district, and it represents 60% of their tax loss. Approval of this grant would bring total disbursements to approximately $20.2 million, and I would be glad to take any questions.
Okay, any questions from directors on this item? Any comments from the public on this? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you. Maria Mitchell will present a Life Science Initiative Fund Working Capital Grant to Health Research, Inc., Lyme Disease Research Project. Right.
Thank you, Howard. And on the phone is Dr. Jill Taylor, who is the director of the Wadsworth Center that's under the New York State Department of Health. So the project we're presenting today is part of Governor Cuomo's $620 million Life Science Initiative, which, as everybody knows, was created to establish a thriving commercial life science sector in New York State. This project, as you may recall from the July board meeting, is a partnership between Regeneron Pharmaceuticals and Wadsworth, specifically to research Lyme disease. As you'll also recall, Governor Cuomo has appropriated $750 million to rebuild the New York State Department of Health Wadsworth Center lab in Albany. As part of the lab's redevelopment, ESD's Life Science Initiative was tasked with developing public-private partnerships utilizing Wadsworth's unique scientific capabilities. This board has already approved funding for 2 private partnerships for Wadsworth, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals and Illum Health Solutions. When this board approved $24 million in grant funding in July for the partnership between Regeneron and Wadsworth, we noted that we would return at a later date for the approval for the second part of the project to fund Wadsworth's component. Separate from the $24 million for Regeneron approved in July, this is a request to make a working capital grant of $6 million to HRI Inc., the not-for-profit that administers funding to support DOH research and programs, and to fund Wadsworth's component of the Regeneron partnership. Both Regeneron and HRI will be allocating scientists and scientific resources specifically to research tick-borne illnesses and Lyme disease specifically. This partnership will serve as a valuable model for the establishment of public-private partnerships that are critical to seeding a life science cluster in the capital region. And it is our goal and our hope that partnerships such as this will encourage other companies to collaborate with Wadsworth and engage in innovative research and development projects that offer economic benefits to the capital region and New York State as a whole. This project also has an important public health focus, as you know, with its potential to result in new diagnostics and therapeutics for Lyme disease, which disproportionately affects New York State. The research partnership will be conducted over a period of 5 years. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, sorry, who did you say was on the line?
Jill Taylor, Dr. Jill Taylor, who is the director of the Wadsworth Lab.
Okay.
Jill, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Okay. Hi, would you want to add anything to what Maria said? Although Maria's presentation was comprehensive, do you want to talk at all about your efforts regarding Lyme disease or anything else?
Thank you. I'd appreciate that opportunity. I just want to say that this is actually a perfect partnership between capabilities of the Regeneron company and Wadsworth. You may be aware that Regeneron develops therapeutic monoclonal antibody cocktails, and one of these is being used in the field in the Congo against the current outbreak of Ebola. And it's that technology that we're going to be applying to develop a monoclonal antibody against Lyme. But there's some basic research things that we need to do first to define the human immune response and also define what antigens what proteins on the bacterial code actually induce an immune response. So we need to do some basic work first, but there's a great potential here and a great synergy for developing both new therapeutics and diagnostics. So we're very excited and very proud to be part of this partnership. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Any questions for Maria or Dr. Taylor on this item from the directors?
Just a simple, Lyme disease is particularly difficult and a problem in New York State?
Oh, man.
Yeah, we have quite a bit. I'll let
More than other places?
Yeah. It's so debilitating.
No, I know someone who got it, but I didn't know that New York was.
Is Dr. Taylor, is Lyme disease particularly pervasive in New York State versus other states?
Well, it's very pervasive in the Northeast states, so we certainly have a very high prevalence, as does Massachusetts and Connecticut, and that prevalence is increasing.
That's why it got the name Lyme from Lyme, Connecticut.
Yes, that I knew.
That's correct, yes.
But they credit Lyme disease as being a primary cause in many cases of people being sent to mental institutions because it works on the nerves. And that it can, if it's undiagnosed, it can lead to mental impairment and mental illness. It's insidious. It's incredible how dangerous it is.
It is, and one of the things we want to do is, some people clear the Lyme disease bacteria very easily, and others go on to a chronic infection and also long-term sequelae. And we want to develop biomarkers so that we can distinguish between those that are going to clear and those that are going to have long-term illness. And so, be aware of that and make sure that they get the appropriate treatment. So that's a part of this project. It's a very complex disease.
You bet.
Okay, other questions for Dr. Taylor or Maria on this from directors? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, thanks, Maria. Thanks, Dr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Next up, Steve Golub will present, we're going to go back to Michael Evans on Moynihan Station. Michael, take it away.
I'm presenting an amendment.
So see if it's, just make sure your microphone's on. There you go.
All right.
No,
This is
speak up.
an amendment to our project management contract with WSP, which we competitively procured and initiated in early 2017. The original contract amount is for just over $26 million. We're seeking to amend that contract for $5 million plus a contingency of $780,000. So a total of about $6 million, just over $6 million. This is to add some specialized services to the contract through a series of sub-consultants that will help ESD and WSP as project manager better oversee certain aspects of the project. In particular, we've increased QA/QC on the skylight installation, which is a major component of the project. We've also brought on some specialized services regarding the stone paving that will happen throughout the new train hall. We've increased our crane monitoring program and review procedures with specialized services. And importantly, the largest portion of this results from bringing on a specialized consultant under WSP for operational readiness and transition. These are essentially the services to help the train hall prepare for opening on day one and to work very closely with the railroads to ensure that they have the support they need to make the move to the new facility, and that all of their systems, passenger functions, back of house functions are ready on day one. This is a significant move, especially for Amtrak, who's never done anything like this and is moving across the street. And we brought on a special firm that has opened airports around the world and railway stations and has a lot of experience in this space. And they are fully embedded now and will be fully embedded with our project management team, WSP, and working on the commissioning, testing, trials, simulations, and everything leading up to opening at the end of 2020.
And funding for this is from?
The funding from this is coming out of the overall project budget. We had contingency on the original within project management budget, and we also had certain funds set aside for the move of Amtrak, and this will come out of that budget line. But will need to be added to this contract.
Okay. Questions from directors to Michael?
So does that, I'm sorry, does that use up some of the contingency?
Some of it is coming from the contingency, but that is being applied across the entire project. But as of right now, we're doing very well in terms of our use of contingency and see no challenges with, getting to the end of the project.
Okay. How's it coming?
It's going very well. We achieved our second contractual milestone on schedule on November 30th, which was the completion of the mid-block skylight. All the glass has been installed into that skylight, which is a big achievement. And
is that over the mailroom?
That's actually the smaller skylight. It's between the space between the two buildings, between the Ninth Avenue. The main train hall skylight, all of the steel framing is in place, and glass will begin going in early 2019 and be completed later in 2019.
Time for another tour or what?
We'd love to have you.
Would love to have you. A trek down there?
I'd love to see it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's great.
You won't believe it.
It's no.
Got to see the train man. You got to see the postmaster's office, though.
That's right.
That's a must stop.
It is, but on schedule, on budget, going very well. The team is performing at a high level. We're very pleased with Skanska's work to this point, and the developer is very engaged in their. They are beginning their private construction work in the private portions of the building and are active on the street, talking to tenants for the upper floors of the building.
Okay. Other questions for Michael on this from directors? Any comment from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Whoa.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Michael. Okay, let me see. Steve Golick is up for the first of our admin items. Steve?
Thank you, Howard. Today, the board's being asked to approve an amendment of a contract with the SUNY Research Foundation on behalf of the University of Buffalo Regional Institute. We're asking that the contract amount be increased to $240,000 and that the term be extended to June 30th, 2020. UBRI's work includes research and the preparation of various reports and presentations related to the various economic development topics that our executive team is involved with. UBR's work has proven invaluable to ESD's executive team, and with respect to various economic development initiatives, policies, and presentations that are required. So again, we're asking that the contract be extended and also the amount be increased to $240,000. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the directors for Steve Golick on this item? Any comments from the public on this? Is there a motion to approve?
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Jolien Handler will present an item relating to the establishment of pre-qualified list of suppliers for IT goods and services. Jolien.
Thank you, Howard. Today, we're seeking board approval for a pre-qualified list of firms for IT goods and services. ESD maintains an IT infrastructure to support our many functions, programs, and services. Many of ESD's systems require external consultants, hardware and software companies to maintain these systems. Without these firms, ESD's technology could be compromised and may become out of date. Creating a pre-qualified list allows for the most efficient use of staff resources and ensures standardized pricing across all these firms. Earlier this year, staff placed an RFP on the ESD website and the New York State Contract Reporter, requesting proposals for 9 distinct service areas identified in the materials. We received an extensive list of proposals, which were evaluated by a team from IT, contracts, and legal, and scored based on a set of criteria listed in the RFP. Based on this evaluation, ESD has created a list before you today. It's important to note that no financial commitment is being made by approval of this list, and that any financial commitment that reaches the threshold for board approval will come to the board at that time. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, directors, for Jolien, are there any questions on this list? Any comments from the public on this item? Is there a motion to approve?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, thanks, Jolien. Beverly Bob, you are back up and will present an item relating to broadband again.
Yes, hello, good morning again. The Broadband Program Office is seeking director's approval to contract with 3 vendors, Tilson Technology Management, Inc., Guidehouse LLP, and CSA Group New York Architects and Engineers, PC, to perform technical validations of as-built broadband deployment projects funded through the New York Broadband Program. ESD identified the firms before the board today on the basis of a request for qualifications issued to the public in January 2017. The RFQ requested that respondents demonstrate relevant experience and methodologies for the technical validation of broadband deployment projects. 4 firms responded to the RFQ, and the RFQ review committee determined that 3 of these firms should be deemed qualified. Based on the results of this RFQ, the directors in June 2017 approved the creation of this pre-qualified list consisting of the 3 firms today. The Broadband Program Office now seeks the board's approval to enter into term contracts with each of the 3 pre-qualified vendors for an amount not to exceed $999,999. As New York broadband projects achieve completion, the Broadband Program Office will utilize the vendors to confirm that constructed broadband networks have conformed to approved plans, address awarded geographies, and meet key project indicators and milestones. These contracts will be valid through May 31st, 2022. The funding source for all 3 contracts will be the 2018, 2019, and 2019-2020 funding for the New York Broadband Program. Thank you.
Okay, so this is monitoring types of services for the contracts that have been issued?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, any other questions from director?
That amount, the 999, for each one of the 3 or for a total?
Is it a total amount or for each?
That's for each of the 3.
Each of the 3?
So
yes.
3 times the amount.
Okay, so it's 3 times, it's $3 million roughly?
Correct.
Okay. Other questions from directors on this?
Good idea.
Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve? Cesar, second, Rob, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. I think we've gotten through most items. Okay. I need a motion to conduct an executive session pursuant to paragraph D of section 105 of the New York State Open Meetings Law to discuss litigation update, including an authorization to enter into a settlement agreement.
Move.
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Great. Thank you. Okay, great. We're good to go. So the meeting of the ESD directors is back in open session. I'll note for the record that no votes were taken during executive session. Looking for a motion to approve item 7A as presented and considered in executive session. Is there a motion to
I will move
approve?
it.
Is that, sir? Is there a
Second.
Rob, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Move.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Happy Festivus and happy everything else.